With the arrival of 4.0 to the Star Citizen, I have decided to take a look of how does a career of a salvager look like in Pyro. And this will be a full gameplay session showing all elements. However, to keep the video length short, some of the segments will be accelerated and they will be clearly marked as such. But to really show you how does it feel, I decided to take a day in life of an off-grid salvager in Star Citizen 4.0 in Pyro. Yes, strap on, this is gonna be beautiful. Alright, so as you can see, I am here at the Obituary Station, which is the planet station above the planet Bloom in Pyro, and I'm here in my salvager, which is the Drake Vulture, with an ice paint. It's the best paint there is. Honestly, I love it to the bits. Now, here I would like to share a couple of tips with you. Once you actually get in your ship and you get ready to basically take off, my advice to you would be immediately switch off to the nav mode before requesting the clearance to leave. So switch to the nav mode, make sure that you are ready to immediately bug out because, well, there might be spawn campers, and at the moment Pyro is truly a lawless system in the full meaning of the word. So the moment I have requested the hangar request, I have decided I will go to navigation quantum mode so I get charged, and also I have chosen my destination, which is the Anvil Arrow contract that I have decided to pick up. I will not consider basically doing the salvage panels and stuff, but rather just to explore what it would look like to do a little bit of arrow salvage and then take it organically wherever it hits me. So now that we have quantum point selected and quantum mode locked, I have decided to get immediately out of the Obituary Station, and you can already see there are some players out there. Whether or not a hostile, I don't know, I don't care. So the moment I get out and my quantum drive is online, I just hit the afterburners, go for the decoupled mode, and while I'm decoupled, I'm line up the quantum jump and decided to hit it. This will make any potential stalker much harder to hit you, so, and gives you a chance to quickly think through. So in the hangar you have time. So here we have 3 times accelerated travel to the journey because I figured might as well, you know, show you the travel time and what it takes to get there. Now I will be going to the salvage claim, and I immediately notice that I have contact, and the contact is hostile, and at this point I didn't know if it was NPCs or anything, so I have decided to go out of the zone, leaving private property, to identify who am I dealing with. And apparently, to me it looks like by the names of it that it's mostly NPCs. Just to be on the careful side, I have decided to put some power to guns and to shields just to make sure that we are readily available to actually tackle those threats, but I will not engage them unless they engage me first. I will try to see if I can approach in a little bit wider arc and hopefully just ignore the fact that they're over there. Salvage claim is just in front of us, and it is the Anvil Arrow, the beginning mission that is very, very common when you're starting out. So I just wanted to give you an impression how would it feel to start out. Note that I'm in SCM mode because those will be keeping my shields powered all the duration while I'm actually mining, so I've decided to easily and carefully approach this and in some time acceleration start actually the salvage procedure, switching to the scanning mode and switching to my cinches. I didn't change to a braids. I would prefer that I have used a braids, but since this is just a demo mission, figured might as well. If you're considering actually going with a career, I would rather, if you're just starting out, suggest you start in Stanton, get the braids, and then come to Pyro, because it will make your life a lot easier having your home base in Stanton. But you can always bind the spawn point to Pyro. If you're just starting out, that would be my suggestion. If you're a seasoned veteran, then Pyro might be just the challenge that you're looking for. And as you can tell, we are just scraping everything, and as the contract was ready, I decided to go to the fracture mode. and fracture the arrow, clean up everything. Now note, since I spawned in the hangar, I don't have the tractor beam, or I don't have even, you know, the multi-tool. So I'm gonna be using the components that I dismantled, because you need some construction materials and RMC to be able to basically get those things. Now, as I have finished up getting this, I noticed an enemy NPC. I thought first that they were going for me, but now I noticed there was actually a player called Short Tank who was actually chasing them in a Corsair, which I thought was actually kinda cool. So, not knowing whether he is friendly or hostile, he wasn't red to me, I decided to thank him via the in-game chat, and also if he was engaging some other targets, see if I can assist him. I mean, considering how much a vulture can actually assist Corsair, but then again, for funsies, why not? I mean, I was just starting out, I have nothing to lose, but if you were considering such a move, I would really suggest that you be really careful in terms of how you approach it. I'm going with the SCM in the gun mode just to be on the safe side, and I have noticed that there was this NPCs he was targeting, so I figured if I attack the same NPCs, he just might be considering, okay, I'm helping him out, might as well see what happens. If he starts attacking me, I can immediately bug out and go somewhere between the asteroid cluster. Obviously, Corsair is a little bit less maneuverable than the Vulture, or at least I think it is, despite the Vulture not being exactly a fighter material. So yeah, a little bit of peppering the NPC with fire until he gets hit, and I think actually it was the Short Tank who got the kill. Fine. Then I figured, okay, well, this was a fun loop. Might as well, you know, search around and clear the area of hostiles. And if we clear the area of hostiles, and there's lots of asteroids, so given my flight skills, which are decent, I'm not really a dogfighter and I'm not a PvP player, so, but I do manage to PvE-wise hit around my weight class, so to say. But, and I know Vulture is not a PvP ship, but I figured, you know, if I manage to soft test some, who knows, maybe I will be able to salvage. At this point, I have never done salvage before, so I figured this would be cool to check it out. And as of the last 48 hours, I can say the servers have been performing a lot more stable, which would actually allow this loop to happen. So I'm still not sure whether or not CIG decides to release the 4.02 live or not. There has been no communication since, but they're clearly progressing towards that goal. So looking from that perspective, my opinion is I would prefer them to have it in an open PTU so we can play it, but if some game-breaking bugs occur, we can still reset the character via the website. You cannot do that via live, which means if you get stuck, you just might be stuck. If there are any game-breaking bugs, of course. Right. However, I gotta admit, CIG really did a huge number in terms of performance when it comes to Pyro and in the last 2-3 patches, because making a video such as this like 2-3 days ago was completely impossible almost. It was janky, and you will still see some, you know, desync and jank here and there. However, the game is much more performant, and it seems like overall patch is getting in a much better state. Alright, so having said that, I was deciding to actually take care of this guy, and you can see he was a little bit, you know, janking around, but at some point I realized that I flew in the wasp nest, and there were like 3 or 4 of them that were starting to come close to me and starting peppering me. I could have probably won, but I noticed that I'm getting hit, so I decided, you know, since I'm not in the combat craft, this is after all a salvage vessel, it's an industrial vessel, might as well, you know, bug out, and since we're in Pyro, it is what it is. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm pretty confident that I would be able to tackle my opponent, but I'm also a little bit careful not to be distracted by others. And when I flew away, they disengaged, but I also uncovered that here there was actually a Zeus. And at first I thought that it was somebody who owned it. I clearly turned around and I was looking, okay, is somebody still following me? Is somebody engaging me? Because if it was not, this would be a chance to do an organic, you know, salvage. So I went to the scanning and I was trying to figure out if this guy actually was, you know, owned by somebody, but for some reason the scan didn't want to trigger. I have to check my VKB bindings if I have, if it's anything to do so. So I decided, okay, you know what? If the scanning doesn't want to perform, let me just see if I can scan it and see what happens. So let's go into the salvage mode and I'll try to start salvage. Target shielded. It was really cool that the UI gave me the notification that the target was shielded. However, it didn't say if somebody was owning it. So if somebody was really owning it, guys, I haven't seen anybody. I didn't kill anybody, just for the record. But it was kind of curious to find out. Let's see what can we do. So we went to the open door and see if there's any cargo to loot. I wonder what happened. I mean, the guy had clearly open cargo, so it could be a NPC ship, but it also could have been a player ship that was abandoned for some reason. Who knows? Now let's go inside and let's check what's the state of the ship, because ship seems to be in a pretty decent state, so you know, might as well. Let's check out what do we have over here. I mean, it's a good source of salvage, and Zeus CL is pretty sizable target. And normally, if I was to do a salvage on a friendly target, I would probably get a crime stat, but this is a lawless system, meaning there can actually be quite a lot of gameplay to be had. So I decided to basically power off everything. And since I powered everything off, I know that the shields will be off, which will allow me to salvage this vessel. So, and I'm thinking that I'm doing the good work of cleaning up the garbage. So, thanks to salvagers, I mean, the system should be a little bit more performant. There will be more stuff to clear up. So, having said that, let's go inside, and first we're gonna do some hull scraping. Oh god, Pyro looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, it's really gorgeous. I really like the haze, the asteroid field and everything. Really gives you some special vibes, and just the knowledge that there's a danger out there, I don't know, for me it gives me an extra kick. I'm not by no means adrenaline junkie, but I really enjoy a little bit of, you know, asking myself what's out there in the wild. I mean, will I encounter NPCs, players? There is a sense of imminent threat and danger. Yeah, so this one I have decided to accelerate just a little bit in terms of salvaging, because I figured it kind of takes a lot, and as I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of you will by now be saying, oh, I mean, Gromforks, come on, you're terrible at salvage. I mean, your salvaging sucks. Yeah, you're absolutely right, it does. It stinks on ice. However, I figured might as well, you know, just do a lot of salvage, because I do want some RMCs and I do want some construction materials. I'm pretty sure that when 1.0 comes out, that the construction materials will actually be split into, you know, like iron, aluminium, and whatever materials are possible. So the CIG did hint that the salvage will be getting an overhaul. So I'm really looking forward to how it will play out. Overall, I feel like a gameplay loop is pretty chill, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot. Now, I haven't done a lot of mining so I could compare, but since I have a vulture, the salvage actually loop is really fun. Sorry for a little bit accelerated, you know, scope. I thought it would be kind of fun just to, you know, get some materials in. And yeah, I was actually enjoying the salvage. So let me know what would be your preferred profession if you're playing in Pyro. And at 4.0, let me know in the comments. Do you plan to actually check it out? And if so, what would be your preferred spawn point? Are you considering to, you know, start in Stanton, go to Pyro, or to start in Pyro off grid and see how it goes? Because I think whichever path you choose, it's gonna be your own story and it's gonna be pretty fun. The current state of Pyro is it's a total murder mayhem. So yeah, you have to be really careful when you're out there. You have to constantly look around, but since I was going for this contract, I was pretty sure it's not gonna be crowded with people. The fact that I saw one Corsair there was enough indication for me to keep on my toes, but he seemed pretty friendly. And although we never saw it eye to eye, I decided basically might as well, you know. Alright, so as you can tell, I'm hull scraping, and this is actually the loop that I really enjoy. It's zen. I sometimes play, you know, Spotify or anything in the background, just enjoying the music, and it's kind of nice. Alright, so now at this point I think I have scraped enough hull. I heard that I was getting the contact, so I figured, okay, well, that might be a little bit careful. Let's rather just fracture it, get some materials as much as we can, because if I was getting contact, I might as well starting to get shot at. And as you can tell, there were some craft trying to shoot me. So rather than just to fracture, I have decided to bug out, switch, and get the hell out of here. Since I've noticed that it might be NPCs, but you know, I didn't want to stay long enough to find out. So if you're taking a career in salvage, you might want to keep your eyes open, and if you see anybody shooting, it would be a good idea to bug out, regardless of what they are doing. So since I've managed to get quite far, was trying to figure out, will there be anybody that's trying to shoot me onwards? Was it NPC or not? And at this point it was already getting late, so I decided, let's see if we can go planet side and find maybe a decent location to see if there's any salvage to be had on the planet surface, like, you know, ships at some station or whatever. I realized that this is actually quite a dangerous prospect, but it is what it is. Let's see what we can do. So I was thinking first to go to the obituary, back, and I've queued it. So I've decided, okay, let's proceed towards Bloom and obituary, just to get out of this bubble where I clearly know that there are hostile NPCs. However, it was never my intention to get all the way to the obituary, and as you will see, I have decided to abort the jump like midway, somewhere, or even a little bit earlier, just the point to move away from the known space. Now, since I've jumped here, I figured, okay, I might as well want to be ejecting the cargo crates, because I might not have enough time to eject them later. So I've chosen a dead component of space, dead place in the verse, just to go out and eject things in peace and quiet. After all, since the scanning is not that in, and also nobody can scan you from these distances, you know, this is pretty safe area. So, having said that, I know that I have some construction materials. I've decided to go and print out and craft my materials. So let's see, craft Pyro multi-tool. Yeah, let's do this. You only need 0.15 SCU and 0.05 recycled RMCs. So yeah, there we go. However, it doesn't have a true hole tractor beam module, and it doesn't allow you to deposit it at the moment. For some reason, it didn't want me to store it. However, I figured out, okay, well, let's just print then let's print the true hole tractor beam. Can we just play this? Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's crafting. So once it ejects that one, I'm gonna attach it to the Pyro multi-tool, and then I will be able to... Okay, interaction wheel. This part was a little bit janky, to be honest, but I decided to, okay, let's see, can we inspect, and let's go to the tool attachment process. So we've decided to pick up the component, and now it kind of worked. I went to the inventory and I just decided to attach these two components. So if you don't have a backpack or anything else where you can store the tool, you can do it this way. Now we go back to the depot and we decided, okay, let's eject, you know, crates. Switched over to the tractor module. I have to say, everything so far seems to be working pretty nice. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way everything is working. Now, there we go. Let's see if the tractor beam works. Yep, it does, and we can just store everything here. Now, having said that, it didn't want to attach to the cargo grid. Now it wanted. Okay, so it was left and right click, I guess. Fine. There we go. Now, keep ejecting, please. Auto eject, and there are a few more. I think it's 4 more boxes. Alright, so 4 more boxes to be ejected before we continue on our merry journey. Now, let's pick it out and let's put them somewhere on the cargo grid. Okie dokie, easy does it. There we go. Few more boxes and we'll be ready to go. I like to keep my buffer empty for the time being. Just in case we find a good salvage source, I can continue salvaging as is. Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna be, you know, crowding my... Okay, what happened? Okay, that just looked weird. I don't want to craft my pathways, because if I need to get in or get out, you never know. I mean, after all, this is Pyro. Right, I think we're done, so we're gonna go out and we're gonna find a new place where we'll be doing the salvaging. So, as said, I think I want to go to the planet Bloom. Now, let's see. Planet Bloom is really beautiful, and there are some places, you know, you have the yellow tundra or whatever it's called. I don't know if it's tundra now. And you have lakes and everything else, but I'm expecting that it will be filled with people because Bloom is kind of popular in Pyro. So I thought, let's see if we can find a place where nobody would be looking. So I decided to go to Bloom to start with. And then when we go to Bloom, I've decided to see, is there a place where I could be looking where people might not be that interested. So I decided to see, oh, and there is this frigid knot. The yard is clearly owned by the handhunters. I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of players going to the yard. So might as well go to the frigid knot. And I was kind of hoping that my ice paint will kind of be also shielding me in the terms of white against white background. Well, you never know. It was just my thought process, and if I ever wanted to, you know, land my vessel there, it would be kind of cool, because white on white, it might not be that visible. Alright, so coming to Bloom, I have arrived, and I decided I'm gonna go towards the frigid knot. It seems that it didn't want to, my quantum drive didn't want to engage, so I had to basically reset it for some reason.
Navigation mode enabled.
Navigation mode enabled, and now spooling and target seems to be locked, which means I was able to just hit the quantum drive. Okay, and let's hit it. There we go. Beautiful. And while I was actually flying over the south pole of Bloom, I've noticed that I have decided to basically switch it up and not go to the frigid knot, but to go somewhere uncharted, just for the joy of flying. So I figured these bunch of islands down there next to the water, close to the ice cap, actually looked kind of fun. So I decided to go down that island.
Navigation mode enabled.
Now, okay, I just Alright, so I have decided to enable the afterburners, and then we are going just straight down to make sure that we can arrive on Bloom. And the thing that you're seeing, that where my eyes are going left and right, I'm having and using the Tobii eye tracker, which I can wholeheartedly recommend to use in Star Citizen. It's amazing. It's such a level of immersion that you cannot... It's unparalleled. And especially if you're gonna be adventuring with your ships in Pyro, do check out, go to tobii.gg, and you can use the code /Groundworks, and you can use the code Groundworks to get a 5% off regardless if it's sale or not. So if you choose to do so, you are more than welcome, and you would also be providing my channel with a direct kickback, so thank you very much for doing so. And as we are approaching the Bloom, we're gonna be arriving close by, and I'm actually looking for a decent place to land. Just look how the south pole of Bloom is beautiful. And it suits while... Oh, and look at this plateau. Well, you know what? I just might land my craft there and park it there. I think for off-gridding, white on white surface, it just might be the place for me. Beautiful. There we go. And easy does it. There we go.
Landing complete.
Landing succeeded. Beautiful. Engines offline, and honestly, I'm not sure even if I deployed the landing gear. I kind of hope I did. Well, like if you liked the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.